Hi, so my name is Jamie and I'm with MyTarot.org. And on the Facebook page, MyTarot, we were asking what is it that people would like to see videos of. So I've got 150, almost 200 videos on my site, and so I was looking to do some different types of videos also. So one of the things people were asking is how do you memorize keywords? And when I read that, I kind of cringed because it's not about keywords. And if I had to memorize keywords, first off, I get so bored it's pitiful because I'm not going to remember all the keywords. But the other thing is that you're telling a story. And when you're telling a story, you're not just giving out memorized words. You are using your intuition to tell that story. So the training method that I'm coming up with, and that I'll have all written up and everything, but I call it What the Fool Sees. Plain and simple. What the Fool Sees. Because we get taught by these books about, when I'm looking at the Emperor, I see that there's a ram's head on there, and that is a sign for Aries, which is Mars, which is the god of war, which is memorize this because the Kabbalah does it and all. And it's like there's a lot of wonderful esoteric stuff that's tied to it, but I don't want to have to memorize all that just to be able to read the tarot. Because in the 1600s, the tarot was just a card game. It didn't have all that. And so the first fortune tellers just had the tarot as it was presented without the extra stuff added from the Golden Dawn and other esoteric orders in the 1800s. So if we look at a method called What the Fool Sees, then as you're looking at a card, the fool, the good thing about the fool is that he doesn't even try to be the smartest person in the room. So it's like the emperor's new clothes. In that story, everybody is telling the emperor how great that, even though the emperor's naked, he looks fabulous. It's the most beautiful, blah, 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 blah. And then some fool comes up and says, but he's naked. That's what the fool sees. Right? So, if I'm looking at a card, and I'm just going to pull up, hey, here we go. Let's pull up the Tower. So, what would the Fool see with the Tower? Destruction. He sees that this is a calamity. So if I'm reading this card, yes, I understand that it there's a lot of different ways to look at it. But if this is part of a third panel in a comic, it's easy for me to say, if A card leads to B card, then this is going to happen. What is this? The Fool's going to say, oh my gosh, I see lightning, fire, and destruction. I'm not going to do what's in the first card and the second card because I want to avoid this path. I mean, you really don't need keywords for that, do you? The Fool sees a card like this, and the Fool's walking along. And so in the Marseille Tarot, and I'll pull up a Marseille Tarot again because the cards really are simplified. So here's an Emperor, for example. And in the Rider-Waite, as I was saying before, the Emperor has the ram's head. He has all this other wonderful stuff. But on this one right here, you see an Emperor sitting at his throne. And what does a Fool see? He sees there's a shield there. He sees somebody who's regal. And, is that a cross on there? So, cross on that ball. And so it looks like somebody who is dignified, who can take care of a situation, somebody that I would want to trust in a situation. I don't know anything else about it. I don't know that bird actually means something, or I just know that that's a bird on a shield, and that looks pretty important. But I know that if I'm reading this and this is the first card in a 3-panel comic, I'm going to say, what's he looking at there? So this is an important person, and this is an important card. He's looking at the next card. So with him and then card B being important, then it's going to lead to C. So I should probably pay attention to what the Emperor is looking at. It's just what the Fool sees. So I'm going to do an example. I will, let me mix these up. I'm going to just grab 3 cards out of the Marseille here. One, two, 3. And let's see if this works with what the Fool sees, okay? So, I have these 3 cards. I haven't even looked at them yet. What do we got? So, just for our sake, I'm not going to have these reversed. But what do we have here? So, I see first we have this knight. And doesn't he look regal? He looks like he's got a set purpose, and he's got a cup there. He's not holding a sword. So I've seen that chalice, the Fool would say, 1600s, I've seen that chalice before in churches, and it's very spiritual. So this knight must be on a mission of a spiritual nature, and it could be about love, because the church is love, that's what the Fool would be thinking. And so, so this knight is going on some kind of a spiritual, let's see what's next, nature, where he's offering a cup. Oh, this is the next one. Is that the Fool, or is that somebody he gave the cup to? But it looks like now the cup is being handed to somebody, and it's like this good feeling. Is that a brother and sister or 2 kids? That's really nice. I like what's happening here. And so we know this is the 6 of Cups. And Pamela Coleman Smith gave us this wonderful picture. And 6s are about harmony and improvement, if you want keywords, right? But I mean, it looks harmonious. It looks like the knight came along, and he had a spiritual message. And that message is getting passed on to somebody, and it's a good, joyous message. And then what happens in the next panel? Because of that good, joyous message, we can expect that, wow, what are those coins right there? That's a lot of coins. So this person, it's a woman who is out in the field by herself. She looks very independent out there, doesn't she? So we should probably watch for a spiritual message that's being brought by somebody. And then that message is going to get passed along, maybe. And it's going to be this happy moment. Maybe it's an expectation of meeting somebody that we haven't seen in a while. And that it's going to blossom out to be something that could be financially gainful. Where there is just this serene picture where it doesn't look like finances are going to be an issue. I'm just kind of reading a story. But I'm not using keywords. So keywords are great because they will give you what you need to know. So I know that 6s are harmony and improvement. I know that the cups are about spirituality and it's about emotions. So I can look at that picture, and that picture, the 6 of Cups, is going to remind me that that's what that's about. And so I do know the keywords, but it's going to trigger that. And I can say, what does the Fool see? I know that 9s are about, coming to the end. It's about a completion. And I know that the coins are about, can be finance. It could be, something grounding, the pentacles. So, I mean, I do know the keywords. This triggers the keywords. But the question is what does the Fool see? And to tell you the truth, I'm looking at that picture there, and it may have nothing to do with anything other than the fact that it's like, I see that reminds me of my younger sister, and that maybe I need to offer, maybe I should give them a phone call. Maybe that cup is actually a cell phone. But it's what the Fool sees. It's not about all the keywords and everything like that, because, again, when you're starting out, it's not easy. But use your intuition and trust what you're seeing. Tell the story in your mind. Then verbalize it. Just blah. Let the story come out. Blah. What am I seeing? I'm seeing this picture here, and I am now adding the words to this 3-panel comic strip. I know that there's a beginning, I know there's a middle, and then there's a punchline to all the comic strips. What is the punchline when I'm seeing something? Is it good? Is it bad? That's the punchline then of the reading. How did I get to that position? And do I need to avoid that? Well, if I have the 2 cards in front of it, I add through insight, through, whatever inspiration or insight I have to fill in those blanks. But don't get caught up on keywords. That's the big thing. So that's how I do it, what the fool sees. And I just read it like a comic strip. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that. That's what it is. It's 3 panels in a comic strip. From there, you can grow into doing, if you want to do a full tableau where you're doing every single card in the deck. But if you can do that, then all of a sudden, for example, when you have 15 cards laid out, you're not worried about the keywords, because all of a sudden you see a pattern that just seems to float here. I see all these particular colors here, and it's like, what does a fool see? Why is there all this blue here? And it's blue sky, and it's, and then it seems to go into this orange, which is kind of barren and desolate. You look at your tableau and you can look at the colors and things like that. What does the fool see? He's not going to see that I now see the scales, and so it must be Libra, and there's Pisces and Aries coming together with the moon in the 7th house, and Jupiter is all aligned over here with, he's just going to sit there and stare at you with his mouth open. Right? So, what does a fool see? Just think of it that way. Give it a shot, and let me know what you think. Just do it as an exercise. Lay out 3 cards. Think of it as a comic strip panel. Look at the outcome. Look at the outcome, and tell the story on how you got there. And if it's good, bad, or indifferent, the story's going to tell you, oh, well, if I do A and B happens, then this is either going to be good or bad. So stay tuned. I'll also cover some other stuff. We'll cover colors and numbers, things like that. We also do the 2 of Wands, where we are going through the entire tarot, 1 card at a time. We already did all the majors. Now we're doing the numbers. We're doing the pips. So feel free to check the MyTarot YouTube page for that also. It's called the 2 of Wands. So with that, go to MyTarot.org, and you'll see the links for all the pages, and leave me a message, subscribe, let me know what you think. So, thank you very, very much.